Hi everyone, welcome to this new episode of Conversations with Zoe. Always a pleasure to be with you. It's Zoe from Cameroon, your host. Here we share nuggets to help us achieve success because we strongly believe that success is much more than just accumulating a lot of money or acquiring stuff. We believe that success has to do with fulfilling the intent of our creation, because we have been sent here to deliver something specific. We are here on purpose and for a purpose. And for us, more than just having a lot of things and a lot of money, it's important for us to fulfill that purpose, to reach that goal, to fulfill that intention God had in mind for us when He sent us here on earth. Today, I was hesitating about concerning the title of this episode. I was hesitating between how to start your success journey and the day I decided to change, because for me, success starts with an event, and that event is a moment where you finally come to terms with the fact that you have to change. You finally come to terms with the fact that no one will come to your rescue. If you do not do something, nothing will be done and nothing will change. And for me, that event happened in 2010. I was poor, I was broke. We were living with my spouse in a small apartment. We had our first child, and I think that Samuel had at that time 2 years old. The rent of our apartment was paid by the church we joined, and even the money I was receiving for my lectures at a private university couldn't help us to make ends meet. It was very difficult. It was very difficult to eat, very difficult to make ends meet, very difficult to live. And I remember one day in 2010, as my spouse was doing laundry outside at the porch of our small apartment, I was sitting inside and I was wondering, how did we get there? What happened for us to find ourselves in this type of situation where it is difficult even to eat, even to rent this apartment? We have to get the support from the church. How in the world did we get here? And I was remembering all the promises I made to my spouse, that I will give her a better life, a life of security, a life of financial independence. And I was failing. I have failed. I was broke. We were broke. And I remember at that moment, I was reading the story in the Bible of the four lepers. I don't know if you know that story. It is found in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 7. That story is about four lepers, and they were facing a major crisis in their lives. In fact, in those days, when you were a leper, it was difficult for you because you were not allowed to be in a community of people. You were an outcast. You were put at the gate of the town, of the city. And in that place, some people could come to give you something to eat, but you were not allowed to be among people because leprosy, it was something that was filthy. It was not a good kind of sickness. And people who were contaminated, who were suffering of leprosy, were removed from the society, were removed from their family, and they lived at that time at the gates, because to enter the city, you have to pass through the gate. And it is at that place that lepers were allowed to stay, not in the city. And at that particular time, at that particular period, an enemy's army came at the gate of that city to submit that city. So inside the city, it was impossible to get out. And as consequence, they started experiencing lack of food. There was famine in the city. After a certain period of time, since the enemy's army was at the gate of that city, there was famine inside the city. And those four lepers assessed the situation, and they said to themselves that there is no hope for us in the city, because first of all, we are not welcomed in the city. We are not allowed to be among people. And in the city, there is famine. So there is no hope for us in the city. 100%, we have 100% chance to die in the city. And they said also to themselves that there is also no hope for us to stay here, because here at the gate, we have nobody to give us food. We have nobody to feed us. There is no food here because there is famine all around, all through the city. So here also, we have 100% chance to die. And the third option is that outside the city, we have the enemy's army. By going outside, by throwing ourselves into their arms, we run the risk to be killed by them. But also, there is a chance, it may be tiny, but there is a chance that they can let us live. And they decided we have to go outside. Here we will die. In the city we will die. The only chance we have to live is to go out, to risk, to take a risk, to throw ourselves into the arms of the enemy. They may kill us, but they may also have compassion on us. They may let us live. And finally, they decided to take the risk. And while they were going towards the camp of the enemy's army, the Bible says that God make the army of the enemy to hear the sound of horses, chariots of a mighty army coming against them. God turned the steps of those four lepers, the noise of their feet, into a mighty noise like the one produced by chariots, by soldiers, by a mighty and powerful army. And they say to themselves, it seems like the king of Israel got the help of the king of Egypt and they are coming against us. And they decided to let everything there and to flee. And when the four lepers reached the camp, they found the camp empty, but filled with spoil, with food, with riches. And that is how they were saved. That is how their situation were turned around. And even the situation of all the city. And I was sitting in my parlor there, and I was thinking about that story. And that story impacted me so much that I decided to take the same assessment of my situation. And I understood that no one will come and rescue me. No one will come and change my situation. If I remain in that spot, doing nothing, trying nothing, hoping for circumstances to change, I finally understood that nothing will change. My situation will go from bad to worse. And I decided that day, I took a decision that day, that like those four lepers, I will take the risk. I will throw myself into the unknown. I will throw myself outside of my comfort zone, because for those four lepers, their comfort zone was the city they were in, because in that city, it's true that they were not among the people, but in that city, people were coming from time to time, dropping them some food to eat. So for them, the city was their comfort zone. But they understood that in that moment of crisis, it's time for them to take a decision. And you know, it takes a crisis. Most of the time, it takes a crisis to cause us to change and to start our success journey. Most of the time, it takes a crisis to wake us up and to let us understand that it's time to take a decision. It's time to change. It's time to step out of our comfort zone and try something we have never tried before. And that day, I decided something amazing. And I'm still amazed when I remember that day. I prayed to God that day. And I say this: I will no longer wait for someone to come and rescue me. I know that the results I have today are just the reflection of the decisions I took yesterday. Therefore, today I decide to take control of my life. And I decide that I will no longer stay here. I will succeed or I will die trying to succeed. And I wrote it down literally, that today I take the decision to succeed or to try or to die trying to succeed. And at that moment, I felt in my spirit a shift. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to change. I didn't know the road or the direction that will lead me to my desired destination. I didn't know all of that. But one thing was for sure is that I will no longer stay here in that position of waiting someone to come and rescue me, of waiting circumstances to change into my favor. I will take the bull by the horns. I will take back the control of my life, and I decided that day that I will succeed or I will die trying to succeed. And I can assure you that this was the day my life changed. This was the day my success journey started. 3 years from then, my financial situation completely changed. Because that day in 2010, I decided not to let any circumstances dictate what I could do or what I could not do, what I could achieve or what I could not achieve. I decided that day to take the bull by the horns. I decided that day to change. And I strongly believe that this is how your success journey also will start. It is by you deciding to change things. Because for your results to change, for your condition to change, for your financial status to change, for your career to change, for your relationship to change, you will have to change something. Many people continue to believe that it is because of their circumstances that they have bad results. It is because of their government. It is because of the rich people, of the rich. It is because they underwent some kind of troubles and hardship that they have the kind of results they are having right now. But I want to tell you, the decision is yours. Success is the result of change, and change is a decision. I want to help you with this. Many people fail to decide what they want in life because they think that to decide I have to know, or to decide I have to have all the resources that I need, or to decide I have to have the right connections. But let me tell you this, none of this is true. Those who have decided to change their lives didn't have the knowledge, didn't know the direction, didn't have the resources, and didn't have the connections. They simply took the decision because they understood consciously or unconsciously that you will never get the direction if you didn't set the destination. You will never get the means if you didn't set the end. You will never get the provision if you didn't set the intention. The intention comes first. The end comes first. The destination comes first. How in the world can you hope to get the direction without having set the destination? It is impossible. Deciding is setting the intention. Deciding is setting the destination. Deciding is providing the end, setting the end. And when I have set the destination, then I can find the direction. If I set the intention, then I can find the provision. That is how it works. That day in 2010, I made a decision. I didn't have the information. I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't know what to do, where to go, what to ask, to who. I didn't have all of that. And that crisis brought me into a place, and that decision was definite. And if you want to start your success journey, you have to decide. A decision is setting your intention, is setting your destination, is setting the end you want for your life. You will never have the knowledge you are looking for because you didn't set your destination. It's like the story of that man who in the forest couldn't find his way out. And suddenly an elder, an old man, was passing by him. And the old man asked him, "Can I help you?" He said, "Yes." "Old man, can you show me the way to get out of this forest, of this bush?" And the old man asked him again, "Where do you want to go? What is your destination?" And the man replied, "I don't have a destination. I just want to get out of this forest, to get out of here." Then the old man replied to him, "If you don't have a destination, then I cannot help you. Any direction will get you out of this situation." And many of us, we are like this man. I was like him. But in 2010, I decided to set my intention, to set my destination, to set the end I wanted for me, for my spouse, and for our child. I wanted a financial free life. I wanted to be able to offer to my spouse and to my child a better life. And that day, I decided that no more I will be in this type of situation. I decided that I will do whatever it takes to succeed, or I will die trying to succeed. I took the decision, and that decision changed my life, because from then I started to think in a new way. I started to think in a new way. I started to look at my environment in a new way. And I started noticing opportunities in my environment, and I've allowed God to guide me. How in the world can God guide you into nothing? Set your intention. Even Jesus used to say this, ask this, "What do you want?" It's a very simple, but it's also a very powerful question. Because by deciding what you want, you set your intention. Deciding is choosing the end you want, the destination you want, the result you want, the change you want. Until today, you who are watching me, you who are listening to me on podcast, you have let other people deciding the kind of life you are living, but you can decide from today the kind of destination you want for your life, the kind of results you want for your life. It only takes for you to make a decision. That is all it takes. What do you want? You have to decide. That is how my success journey started. And that is how all success journey starts, with a decision. If you do not make the decision, you will never get the success you desire or the success you are wishing, you are praying for, you are desiring. You have to set your intention. And don't forget, deciding doesn't mean that you have all the information. Deciding doesn't mean that you have the resources. Deciding doesn't mean that you have the connections. Deciding doesn't mean that you are even equipped, but deciding qualifies you. Your decision and the faith you put in your decision qualifies you. Many people used to come to Jesus and ask him, save me, save me, save me, save me, do something for me. And always Jesus asked them, what do you want me to do for you? Set your intention. Set your destination. Set your end. What do you want? Even God needs you to take the decision, to make the decision to change for him to come to your rescue. You need to make the decision. It is very important and it is very powerful. And that is what I wanted to share with you today. The day I decided to change was the day I started my success journey. And all success journey starts with somebody tired of his condition, tired of his situation, tired of waiting for circumstance to change, tired of waiting for someone to rescue him. And he decides that from today, I make the decision to change, without knowing how he will achieve it, without knowing how he will perform it, how he will bring it to pass, but having this deep conviction that I have to change. I don't know how, but I will figure it out. I will find out. I will do whatever it takes to get the right knowledge, to get the resources that I need, to get the support that I need, to get the connections that I need. But one thing is for certain, I will no longer stay here. I decide to change. That is the kind of decision you have to make to start your success journey. And I hope you've got some value from this episode of Conversations with Zoe. If you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, to like this video, to share it with people you know may need this kind of content. I need you to spread the word about this channel, about this platform, for enabling us to touch many lives. If you are listening to us on podcast, Leave us some comments, spread the word about this podcast, leave us some stars and some reviews to allow the platform to be presented, to be suggested to many people, because what we want is more impact, is more people to get acquainted to this kind of content. And as I usually say, it was Zoe from Cameroon, and I wish you success.